Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Already we're live, and as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on Gravity using Unreal Engine in C++. I did say this last stream that I was going to go over this stream. Let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Yeah, hiding wild, I appreciate you joining the stream. Hiding waited, I appreciate you joining the stream. Hiding Tib, I appreciate you joining the stream as well. Okay, that's let's say something like, let's say I'm live exclamation. And guys, if I can't talk properly right now, it is because I'm not warmed up just yet. There we go. And I got something to eat as well. Hiding Himanshu, I appreciate you joining the stream. That's it, focus on viewers. We're live, people show up again, and that matters more than talent. Most people quit the moment things get confusing. You came back on purpose, remember this. The obstacle is the path, Zen proverb. Every error, every crash, every moment Unreal refuses to cooperate is not a wall, it's the curriculum. Last stream you built real character movement, real camera control, real engine understanding. Today we don't fail, we ascend. People, state today's topic for the stream. When you say it will begin. Honestly, today I do want to go over Gravity. Let me say something like, let's say today I want to work on Gravity. Okay, let's see. That's it, I do have my Unreal Engine. Let me go ahead and extend this from here. I do want to firstly get a quick little review on like automating my object real quick or my mesh real quick before I do move on to Gravity. So let's go ahead and firstly create a new surface, because I actually a new level, because I feel that level is kind of laggy. Okay, that's it. Now I'm gonna go to tools and then let's go to something like new class. I am just doing a review before I actually move on to a new topic. If I can actually like automate or like move my mesh using key control step stuff. That's it. Let's go ahead and create a class here. Now it's adding it to its project. Do you remember me? Honestly, I do remember you. Hiding didn't. Okay, so it's patching my code here. I get a window up here. Let's go ahead and maybe shrink that. Go all the way here. Let's go ahead and reload all. Okay, it said compiling changes for live coding. And I actually think that's pretty much it. I got my C++ project here and my header files project here. Okay, perfect. Hello, you practicing the Gravity? Honestly, today I'm gonna be working on like Gravity in Unreal Engine. Maybe like even jump logic and all that stuff. That's it. Before that, I do want to try to automate or like move my mesh using key controls first to see if I actually understood the topic. That said, let me start off by firstly including maybe spring arm. So I'm gonna go with something like, from my game framework, I want to go ahead and include spring arm. So I'm gonna go with something like spring arm component. There we go. .h for .header file type stuff. And then once I'm done with that, since I will be needing a camera as well, I'm gonna go ahead and include camera. Let's go with something like camera/camera components. So I'm gonna include camera component from camera. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then .h for the header files. Now, once I'm done with that, under my begin play, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says something. And guys, ignore the red underlines. For some reason, Unreal Engine does do that stuff. That's it. Let's go ahead and extend this. There we go. It's all gone. Okay, so I'm gonna be adding a comment that says something like move, turn, and rotate. Let's go with something like and a rotate function. Okay, so I'm going to be creating functions that's going to make me move, turn, and rotate. The first function is going to be something like a void move forwards function. So I'm going to go with something like move forward. Okay, with a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter of value ending with a semicolon. Then I'm going to go with something like a move right function with a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter of value as well ending with a semicolon. Maybe I change this to void. There we go. Okay, and then thirdly, I'm gonna go with a void method called something like turn. This is gonna make my player turn. I'm gonna have a floating point parameter of value here as well, ending with a semicolon. And lastly, I'm gonna go with something like a void method of lookup. Actually, I don't think I need lookup because I feel like lookup is usually just weird. Like it makes it so hard for my keys to control that stuff. So I'm just gonna be having these three methods. And then let's go with another comment. This time, what's good, bro? Hiding Sprongle, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, now next up, I'm going to be having, let's say something like a camera booms comment. This is going to be the stand of my camera / my spring arm. To do this, I'm going to go ahead and use the U property. There we go. The U property for my camera boom can be visible anywhere. What up guys, maybe I fixed my typo. There we go. Okay, so I want my camera's spring arm component to be visible anywhere, so I'm gonna go with something like visible anywhere. So there we go. And the second parameter, I'm gonna let my blueprint read it only. Remember delta time when you move the player or turn? That actually does make sense. I actually remember that. Anyway, like, how's it going? What are you programming today? Honestly, today I am going to be working on Gravity as actually an Unreal Engine using C++. But before that, I do want a quick revision of what I did yesterday. I'm trying to like move my mesh using key controls type stuff. That said, let's go with something like a blueprint read only. Let's go with something like blueprint read only. Okay, the third parameter is going to be a category. Okay, my category is going to be equal to, I don't know, maybe, let's see, maybe camera. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and let's say create a U camera, actually a U spring arm component, because camera boom is like the spring arm. So I'm going to go with something like the U spring arm component. So there we go. Okay, my U spring arm component is going to be represented by a pointer called something like camera boom. Okay, perfect. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Add another comment that says something like follow camera. This is going to be my actual camera component. So, firstly, I'm going to go ahead and add a U property. There we go, with a row of parentheses. I think I spelled it wrong. There we go, with a row of parentheses. Okay, I want my camera to be visible anywhere as well, so I'm gonna go with something like visible anywhere. Okay, and then I want it to be blueprint read only, so I'm gonna go with something like blueprint read only. Okay, lastly, the third parameter is gonna be a category. Okay, which is gonna be equal to camera as well, because this is like, this does come under my camera as a section, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a U camera component. So let's go with component. Okay, perfect, which is going to be represented by a pointer of something like follow camera, ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to move on to my C++ file. Add in my constructor, I want to go ahead and do something. Let's see if I remember this part. Firstly, I want to go ahead and, let's say, create a default sub-object for my camera boom and my follow camera. So, I'm going to go ahead and add something like create a default sub-object. Let's go with something like sub-object, okay, which is going to be equal to, did I spell it correct? Default sub-object. Okay, my camera boom is going to be equal to my create default sub-object with a row of parentheses. Okay, I think I had a typo here. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is correct. Create default sub-object, create a component, Okay, this should be correct, but for some reason I see like a red underline. Let's go with something like the IntelliSense. Let's delete that part, go with shift space. There, create default sub-object. Hey, did you install the Unreal Engine? Honestly, I did like install the Unreal Engine. I feel like I installed it from the Epic Games type stuff. Yeah, I think it was the Epic Games. That said, inside my constructor, camera boom. Oh, okay, wait. The reason I couldn't do that, let's see. I actually should be able to do this here. Why can't I use my create default sub objects as function? This is an actual function. Is it just my Unreal Engine being messed up here? Okay, so I have a camera boom component. Maybe my camera. Okay, I think this is correct. Okay, I think I'll just add the parameters here. Oh, I think. Hold up, guys. I think it's going to be a pair of ankle braces. There we go. My bad. Okay, I forgot. This was not a function. Okay, so I'm going to add something like a U spring arm component. So let's go with something like spring arm component. Okay, and then I'm going to add a pair of parentheses that say something like text. I want to call this something like camera boom. Let's go with something like camera boom. Okay, perfect. Then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done creating a default sub-object, I'm going to go ahead and do something else. Let's say I want to go ahead and set my camera boom's pointer to be pointing towards, let's say, maybe setup attachment. So I'm going to go with something like setup attachment. Okay, with a pair of parentheses. I think I spelled attachment wrong. Okay, let's go with something like attachment. Alright, perfect. Once I'm done with setup attachment, I'm going to go ahead and add a parameter here of my root component. The reason root component is important is because without it, I won't be able to see my object moving even though it is moving type stuff. Okay, Hey, I'm new here. So, what you up to, my guy? Honestly, I'm actually working on Unreal, like Gravity and Unreal Engine 5. But before that, I was like reviewing what I did last stream, where I was actually moving my mesh using key controls type stuff. That said, once I'm done with adding my root components, I'm gonna go with something like camera boom, which is gonna be pointing towards, let's say something like maybe target arm length. This is gonna be like the distance between my camera and my player. Okay, nerd. Guys, that actually does make sense. Okay, I'm shocked like where people call me nerd type stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like target arm length. Okay, there we go. Okay, which is gonna be equal to maybe something like 500 points F, which is basically 500 centimeters away from my mesh. And then I go ahead and grab a bite real quick. Okay, once I'm done with my target arm length, I'm gonna go with something like camera boom, which is going to be pointing towards. Okay, let's see. I could go with something like BU spawn control, but does something come before that? I mean, BU spawn control rotation, but does something come before that? Maybe not, so I'm going to go with something like blueprint. Use spawn control rotation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set this boolean to be something like true for my camera boom, ending with a semicolon. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and create a follow camera, or my follow camera is pointer. I'm gonna create a default sub object of it. So I'm gonna go with something like create default sub object, and then I'm gonna add a prof anchor braces. Did I spell sub object wrong? I think that should be capitalized. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a U camera component here. So let's go with U camera component, and then I'm gonna add a prof parentheses. I think I spelled camera component wrong. There we go. Okay, now my U camera component is going to be having a text which is going to say something like follow camera. Okay, this is going to be the name of my camera component. Okay, maybe I'm going to add a prof parentheses and with a semicolon. Now, after that, I'm going to go ahead and set up an attachment as well, which is going to be my root component. So I'm going to go with something like follow camera is going to be pointing towards, let's say something like set up attachment. So there we go. Okay, so my follow camera is going to be setting up an attachment. Okay, which is going to be having a parameter of my root component. Basically, what the root component does is it like actually lets me know that it actually lets us see our player moving, or we won't be seeing it moving even though it is moving. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with that, I won't need a target arm length for my camera, because camera is like literal camera. The camera boom is like you guys could think that it's something like a selfie stick, where you have a selfie stick, you're catching it up there and like there's a camera up here, if that made any sense, guys. But I will go with something like blueprint use control rotation, the thing that I did here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like follow boom is gonna be pointing towards. Let's go with something like BU spawn control rotation is going to be equal to false here. The reason it is false is because I don't want my camera to control where I rotate. I want my stick or my spring arm to control where my camera is rotating. Okay, BU spawn control rotation. This is going to be follow camera. Okay, perfect. That's like pretty much it for my constructor. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm going to fix my typo real quick by removing an A from here. Okay, and then I scroll all the way down. Under my begin play, I'm going to go ahead and create a few methods. Let's say the first method is going to be a void method, which is hiring guys, how do you pronounce the name? I think I'll just call it something like Rena, because guys, I'm awful at name pronunciation, although I do appreciate you joining the stream. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like a my character, and guys, I feel like I should take a whole dictionary course type stuff. Okay, let's go with character, which is going to be having a scope resolution operator. I'm going to go ahead and call the move forwards this function from my header files that I had up there. I think I spelled it wrong. Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to go with the prof parentheses. My move forwards method does require a parameter of, let's say, something like value. And then I'm going to go with the prof curly braces. Now, inside my method, I'm going to go ahead and do something. Firstly, I want to go ahead and let's say use the add movement. I think it's add movement. I'm working on my arc passing of my shell. That actually sounds kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to go with something like actually add movement. Let's go with something like add movement input. Okay, basically what the add movement input function does is it like allows the player to actually add movement using inputs on my keyboard type stuff. Like if I press something like W, my user is going to move forward and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and add, let's say something like a world direction parameter. So I require world direction parameter and a scale value parameter, which is basically my values of parameter up here. Hello, how you doing? Johnny Sucker, is that how I pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, I'm gonna go ahead and add my world direction here, which in this case, it's gonna be something like get actor forward vectors this function. Basically, what this function does is it like gets my actor the forward location. Am I looking like frontwards or like backwards type stuff? The second parameter is gonna be my value, ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and create another void method. Okay, this void method is gonna be called let's go with something like firstly my character. There we go, and a scope resolution operator of something like move right. Okay, which requires a floating point parameter of value. And guys, these are the exact same functions that I created like right here inside of my header files, like move forward, move right, and turn type stuff. So I'm gonna go back up here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a movement. So I'm gonna go with something like add a movement input. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, which requires a parameter of my world direction. Hello, hiding. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like get actor right vector this time. Hold up, guys. Let's go with something like get actor. There we go. Right vector. Basically, what the get actor right vector function does is it like looks, is my player looking towards the left or looking towards the right? So this second function is in charge of me looking towards the left or right. Okay, the second parameter is going to be a value ending with a semicolon. Now, lastly, my third function is going to be called from my character. Okay, this class, I'm going to call it something like turn because my turns method is inside of my header file 0 as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and require a floating point parameter of value here. Then I go with the pair of curly braces. Now, instead of adding movement, I want to go ahead and add control because I am going to be moving this with my mouse type stuff. So I'm going to go with something like add controller. Okay, add controller yaw input. Basically, yaw input is in charge of me looking left and right. Pitch input is in charge of me looking up and down. If that makes any sense, I'm going to go with something like yaw input. And guys, I'm not like really good at this. That's why my explanation is kind of vague. But the more I actually try learning this stuff, the better I'm going to get at explaining this. That said, I'm going to be requiring a parameter of my value ending with a semicolon. And that's like for very much it. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go all the way down here under my player input component. And I'm going to be creating 3 player input components because I want to bind my component with my Unreal Engine's access mapping. That sounds real complicated. Guys, let me actually show you guys how to do it. So after opening Unreal Engine, if I were to open my project settings and then scroll down and find input, click input here. There's an axis mapping here. If I were to go ahead and it's something like plus, I get a new axis mapping. I'm gonna go ahead and call this something like move forward. And guys, this should be like the exact same name as the name that I'm gonna be using in my Visual Studio type stuff. So my move forward is gonna be, let's go with something like W. If I click W, I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna click this plus button here. Now, if I hit something like S, I want to move backwards, and this scale 1 is going to be -1. So I'm going to move negative steps backwards type stuff. Hey, do you know about RTR? Honestly, I haven't like heard about it. What's RTR about? That's the next time I'm going to go ahead and add another plus here for my axis mapping. I'm going to go with something like move right. This is going to be in charge of moving positive velocity right or negative velocity to the left. So I'm going to go with something like, whoops. So let's go with something like A. I'm gonna go with a plus here. Let's go with something like D. A for -1, D for actually A for +1, D for -1. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a third and final axis mapping. I'm gonna call this something like turn. Okay, now my turn is not gonna be requiring a key press, so I'm gonna click this with my mouse. So I could either click this with my mouse and then go to none here and change this. So I'm going to go with something like mouse X. There we go. Mouse x-axis basically means if I move my mouse to the x or to the y-axis, my player looks to the left or looks towards the right type stuff. Then I'm gonna go back to my project here, or my Visual Studio. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a player input component. Okay, basically what this thing does, there we go. I'm gonna be binding my Visual Studio to all the functionalities to my Unreal Engine's axis mapping. I'm gonna like kind of link them up together. To do that, we just use the bind axis with a parentheses. I wanna bind my move forwards axis mapping. Okay, what do I wanna bind it with? I wanna bind it with this exact character class. Then I'm gonna go ahead and require a parameter of my function name. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my, let's go with something like my character, okay, with a scope resolution operator of something like move forward, ending with a semicolon. Basically what this means is I'm gonna go ahead and bind my axis. This is the stuff from my Unreal Engine's axis mapping move forward. I want to bind this, and then I want to bind it related to this function, which moves my player forwards. Guys, I actually think that I understood this part properly. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and add another player input component. Let's go with something like player input component. Okay, with a pointer. So I'm going to be binding my axis. Let's go with something like bind axis. This time, I want to go ahead and bind my move right. Let's go with something like move right. Then I'm gonna go with a comma here. I want to go ahead and bind this exact object. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my function name, which in this case, it's going to be my character. Let's go with character with a scope resolution operator of something like move right. This is my function. So this is my axis mapping, my axis's name. I want to apply that on this object, my character class. And this is my function, do whatever is inside this function type stuff. Next up, lastly, I'm gonna go with my third axis mapping. So let's go with something like player input component. Okay, I'm gonna be pointing towards, let's say something like bind axis with a pair of parentheses. Let's say I want to go ahead and bind my turns method, or like my turns axis mapping. I want to set the functionalities to be this character class, or my, I think bosses mesh. That's what I'm going to be uploading here. And then I'm going to go with something like my character for my function name. Excuse me, guys. This is going to be my turn function, ending with a semicolon. Okay, that was like a mouthful. I'm going to be removing the semicolons from here because I forgot we didn't need a semicolon here. And that's like pretty much it. Now, if I were to go ahead and hit Control S to save the code here, Control S to save the code here, open my Visual Studio, I have basic argument phrasing in my shell now. That actually sounds so cool. Okay, next up, I'm gonna go all the way down here to my content drawer. I want to go ahead and actually load my object up here because if I just run the code, my mesh is gonna move, but I won't be able to see it type stuff. Okay, so let's go with my project here. This is my character class. Okay, let's just go ahead and get its position up here. Now, in the right side under my details window, YouTube chat kind of made this format look weird, but you can see it works. That actually, the format does look kind of cool. So it's something like mint at mint, shell, $bash, shell test. Okay, 2, 3 tokens, count, 3 position, 5 tokens, 1, 2, 3 test shell. That actually does sound kind of cool. Okay, that's it. Now, under my details tab here, I'm going to go with something like add a static mesh. Let's go with something like a static mesh. Okay, now, since I got a static mesh here, I'm going to scroll all the way down till I don't see my static mesh up here. Maybe let me just extend this so you guys can actually see this part. Okay, so I see static mesh here. Then I can actually add a static mesh of my own because like I don't have my mesh in here. These are all the ones that Unreal got, but I'm scared I'm going to get a copyright if I use that stuff. So, W bro, that stuff that actually does make sense. Actually does look kind of cool. Okay, now let's scroll all the way down here. I'm going to go ahead and open my content drawer. Under my contents class, I'm going to drag my FBX files. And if you guys don't know what FBX files actually is, if you guys go to Blender and like make some kind of mesh, or if you guys just buy some kind of mesh or something, and then it's imported from Blender, it is going to be imported using FBX file. That's the kind of file that is supported by Unreal. There might be other kinds of files as well. Fact check me about that, guys. That's it. These are all the meshes that I made using a Blender. I'm going to go ahead and just exit my content drawer from here real quick. And then now if I were to click none here and then scroll down, I'm going to be seeing my boss mesh. I wouldn't even see my mage's mesh, but I don't think I want to use my mage's mesh because I feel this looks a bit more cooler. That's it. Let's scroll all the way down here. Now I'm going to be setting its position a bit. There we go. And the reason I can't see a camera and all that stuff right now is because I did not run my code. If I run my code, I'm going to be able to see the camera. So let's hit Control Alt. Okay, before I actually run my code, I forgot one important thing, guys. Back inside my content drawer, if I actually back inside my details page, if I type something like possess. Okay, wait, player possess. Let's go with something like player. Okay, maybe I think that's under my world setting. Or wait, that's not under my static mesh. That should be under my character class. Hold up, guys. Let me scroll all the way down here. Click my characters as instance here. Now, if I go with something like possess, my auto player possess is set to disable. I want to set it to player 0. Without that, I want to actually, like, my player won't be, or my character won't be able to move. And now I can go ahead and run the code. So if I were to go ahead and hit something like Control Alt F11, patch my code up, wait for the patch. While it's patching, I might eat something real quick. Okay, so it says something like build failed. Let's actually go ahead and check real quick why the build failed. So I see camera component, category. Okay, I spelled camera wrong here. I had a typo. I spelled it as camera. Let's change this to something like camera. Okay, now let's hit Control S to save the code. Go to my Unreal Engine, hit something like Control Alt F11. Whoops, Control Alt F11 to patch my code. Okay, let's wait for it to patch. It said build fail again. Okay, let's actually see why the build is failing. I get it. That's my camera. Maybe because I gotta go ahead and add my text here to be something like camera. The text here to be something like camera. And the text here to be something like camera, boom, and follow camera. There we go. Now if I were to go ahead and Control S here, let's hit Control S here, open my Unreal Engine, hit Control Alt F11. This should compile. Let's see. So why does it keep saying build fail? Let me try reading it. Okay, execution time. Maybe I go ahead and run the code in my Visual Studio first to check where the build failed, because I might know where it actually failed, somewhere in my constructor. Okay, so it's a build failed, build 0 success, fail 1. Okay, don't they like give the error type stuff? Because let me try debugging if I were to Control F11. I'm pretty sure I know exactly where it's fault. Like, I might need one more method up here. Let's go with something like start debugging. Okay, well, I mean, it does say kind of failed. Let's see. So where could it actually fail? This is my target arm length. That is my root component. Is there something else that I needed here? Just set up attachment, root component, BU spawn control rotation. Okay, I have my functions up here. Are my spellings correct? Move forward, FORWARD, move right turn, delta time. Okay, that is my add controller yaw pitch. Okay, let's see what the yaw pitch is for real quick. Okay, so I get my Copilot search up here. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Okay, positive values, rotation. Okay, so yaw pitch is used for rotations. Let's go ahead and exit that. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a function. You did the mistake again in your constructor. The name should be different. Honestly, I did like initially like have my name different here, but then I like changed it up real quick. Let's go with Control Shift this. Let's go with Control Z. I had these to be camera, but then I thought that I messed up there. I have camera, boom, camera. I'm pretty sure. Okay, wait, I had a typo here. Let's fix this to camera. Let's hit Control S here. Let's hit Control S there. Did I need something else? I had target arm length. I had BU spawn control rotation. Bro, when did you start your coding journey? Honestly, I think I did start like about 5-ish months ago type stuff. That's sad. If you guys go to like my first year video in my channel where I did program, I think it was called like Python for 100 series week 1. That was like the first ever day I did, or the first ever week that I started, because that one video had like me like giving my progress for like 7 days type stuff. That's sad. Maybe I get sensei/ChatGPT here. Let's go ahead and scroll all the way up. I'm pretty sure there shouldn't be any kind of mistakes, but I want to see if I missed something in my constructors. So I added all that stuff. Okay, my constructor is correct. Okay, so my constructor is correct. What else could be wrong? Okay, so I have begin play here. And then I have player input component. That is for my turn. Okay, that is for bind access 5 months ago, and your year is crazy. Honestly, is it? Because I feel like I feel like my progress is kind of slow, but in the same time, I feel I am understanding this properly. Mm. Okay, I get an underline here. Unknown specifier. Did I spell it wrong? No wonder I spelled visible anywhere wrong, guys. There we go. Now if I did Control S to save the code, go with something like Control S here, get my Unreal Engine here. Okay guys, typos are awful and whatchamacallit, unlucky for me, I get a lot of typos. Now my build should succeed, let's wait for it to succeed. There we go. Wait, did it really? Other compilation error, why does it say there's other compilation error? Where else could I mess up? Visible anywhere. I started my journey, Okay, I've started my journey. I'm learning C right now. That actually sounds really cool. Good luck with your C journey, Gigabyte. Okay, let's see. And do let me know how it goes in my Discord server. There we go. Camera, visual white tick. Okay, let me think really hard. From my game framework, I include Spring Arm component, component.h, camera component.h. Okay, that part is correct. And then under my methods, I create 3 methods here. Move forward, move right, and rotate. FORWARD. Okay. Visible anywhere. Blueprint read only. Category camera. This part is correct. Maybe if I were to go to my Unreal Engine, go to my project settings, under my inputs section. FORWARD. Okay, forward is correct, right is correct, turn is correct. Okay, all of that is correct. So I'm gonna go back here to... Where did I mess up in that case if everything is like correct? I have follow camera of my U camera component. Okay, camera boom is spring arm. Follow camera is camera component. Okay, let's go all the way up here. My camera move forward, my camera... Okay, I now added my shell made in a shell history using history minus S. That actually sounds kind of cool. Why is the generated body undefined red? I don't know, it feels like whatchamacallit. Unreal Engine sometimes does that, like it just randomly strikes something red types, but I don't think that's like an issue. So you can use arrow key to cycle between previous inputs. I see, that actually does sound kind of cool. I actually love working with history type stuff because like I like working with previous conversation as well and keeping that in mind. Okay, I have a wide camera setup player component, COMPONENT. Okay, I mean everything is correct here, but then I still get an error for some reason. Okay, turn, did that. Maybe if I go to something like debug, go with something like start without debugging. Okay, maybe I go with something like... How do we debug here? If I had something like Control F5. Okay, let's hit F5 again. Result failed, compilation error. Where does it actually mess up? Does it not say here which line messed up or something? Okay, let me think really hard. Everything here is correct. BU spawn control rotation is false. BU spawn control rotation is true there. Camera boom, follow camera, text is different. Camera component, spring arm component. Okay, maybe I go ahead. Let me actually get ChatGPT here and see my previous reference code to see if I messed up, because I don't think I messed... I mean, I definitely did mess up. That's why I'm getting like an error. But then... Okay, so I did not need to look forward. So first, I go ahead and include spring arm component from game framework. I was checking out your videos, so you first learned Python, then C++, not C. Honestly, I first started with Python, then I moved on to C++. Yeah, actually, that's correct. And then EU class, generated bodies, sets default. I go with something like methods here. So forward, right, lookup, camera component, blueprint read only. Okay, use spring arm component. U property, visible anywhere, blueprint read only. Okay, U camera component, follow camera. Okay, I see. So I created 2 of those. And then in my public method, okay, let's see my .c++ file now. Okay, so camera boom equals to this. Okay. Alright, so create default sub object. The text is camera, the text is camera, and then call when the game starts spawn. Okay, super begin play. Wipe my camera forward, floating point. Okay, so I feel my methods and everything is correct. Okay, so the first thing I did here, this is wrong. I gotta go ahead and remove a semicolon. This was like my yesterday's mistake. But I feel like I did everything correct here. I don't think there's like an issue here. Why do I still get a compilation error? I don't think it's the code, I think it's the stream. Vertical screen has too much traffic in chat. That's why I always prefer horizontal. That actually does make sense. That's it, let's see. Okay, I do not think at this point, yeah, I don't think that it's anything related to my code, because I feel my code is perfect. It's something related to my settings here. Let's go ahead and check my settings. Possess player set to 0. I mean, that's not that important for the time being. And then animation, static mesh. Okay. Okay, actually, everything does look correct. I think it was just Unreal Engine bugging or something, because I feel it usually does that sometimes. Let's hit Control Alt F11 again. Let's see if I get the... Okay, I get the exact same error. Maybe instead of doing this, let's go with something like Control C, copy that, get some /chat GPT here. But before that, I want to try something. Maybe I want to go ahead and open another project. Let's go with something like my project. There we go. Let's wait for the project to compile. This is my yesterday's code type stuff. Oh wait, could it be because my... Okay, I do have a new character, so I go with something like target arm length, BU spawn control. This is the code that I wrote last stream and it did work. I did exactly the same. Like everything was the same except my lookup, but I didn't need the lookup function here. Oh, I see. Okay. So basically where I messed up is I usually mess up in this sweet stuff. You're getting a complication here, so it's mostly some code stuff. That does make sense. Guys, that's kind of stupid. I usually mess up here. I should give the memory address of my functions here. Without that, I will always like run into an error. This is like adding the memory address. I always forget this part like every single time. Now, if I need Control S to save the code, open my Unreal Engine here, hit something like Control Alt F11. This should work. Okay, there we go. Alright guys, it was just the... Let's go ahead and exit this real quick. It was just the memory address type stuff. Now everything is compiled. I got my camera up here. I got my spring arm. The red stuff is my spring arm here. But I want to get the camera a bit away from my my player. So let's go ahead and extend that. Go to something like my camera boom up here. Excuse me guys, maybe I want to go ahead and move it a bit backwards. Okay, wait, I'm getting it lower. Hold on guys, maybe not my camera boom. Instead, I want to go ahead and move my follow camera. This looks like my camera component. I want the location to go a bit back. Whoops, that goes lower. Let's go a bit up. Okay. I want to go a little back. There we go. There, so I can actually see my floor moving type stuff. Now, if I were to go ahead and remove my outliner from here real quick. Okay, go ahead and run the code. Let's see what happens. Okay, now I should be able to move. So if I hit something like S, I can move forwards. I can turn my screen as well around. If I move my mouse, I can go ahead and go to the left, go to the right, go backwards, go forwards. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, it was just the address of operator all along. Like, I keep messing up. Like, I keep forgetting to add my address of operator in my functions. That's it. Now that I'm done with this, I can finally move on to working with the gravity stuff. So let's get some /chat GPT up here. Scroll all the way down here. And now let's see. So about the gravity, let's scroll all the way up here. There we go. So I asked to I said that I wanted to work on gravity today. 40 minutes on stream, and I'm starting this stream's actual content right now, guys. This is awful. Okay, good. Very good choice, people. Gravity is not a side feature. It is the law of your game world. When you understand gravity in Unreal, you stop guessing and start commanding the engine. Remember this. You don't make gravity, you tune it, okay? Said by Sensei, guys, I think that this quote was taken as well. That's it. Unreal already believes in gravity. Your job is to decide how harsh it is. What gravity actually is in Unreal, no mysticism, because you're using a character. Unreal already gives you gravity fall detection, floor detection, and landing. I mean, I didn't want to add it myself, but I think if it gives me, that's fine as well. all of this lives inside character movement components. Okay, you're not writing gravity math. I mean, gravity math isn't even that hard. I gotta like increase my speed by my acceleration, then my direction by my speed. Okay, you're writing gravity math. You're configuring behavior, the core gravity settings, the ones that matter. These are the knobs that control how your character feels. Gravity scale controls how strong gravity is for this character. Get character movement. Gravity scale equals to 1.0f. That is default. Okay, so 1.0f is default. 0.5 moonlike, 1 realistic, 2 heavy brutal. I see. Okay, jump z velocity connect to gravity. This controls how strong the initial upwards force is. Get character movement. Jump z velocity equals to 600 centimeters per frame. Gravity pulls you down. Jump z velocity throws you up. They are a pair. Never tune one without the other. Air control. This one is huge. How controls how much control you have while falling. Get character movement. Air control equals to 0.2, 0.0 locked in the air. 0.2, 0.4 platform feel. 1 is unrealistic but responsive. This is where game feels unborn or unborn. Fall detection beat only but powerful. You don't set this, you Hewer it, as I pronounce it. Adding long story, I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, get character movement is falling. This lets you prevent double jumps, trigger effects, switch animations later. Where this code goes important, all of these go in your constructor, so get character movement. Okay, which is going to be pointing towards gravity scale. That is going to be 1.2 floating point. Get character movement. Jump z velocity equals to 650 centimeters per frame. Get character movement. Air control. 0.3 floating point constructor equals to default physics law of your character. What you should practice on stream. Do this slowly, not all at once. Change gravity scale. Play jump. Feel the difference. Adjust jump z velocity, adjust air control. Observe how small numbers change everything. This is tuning, not coding. Common behavior mistake, do not do this. Trying to manually apply downwards force, use stick for gravity. Writing physics math. Unreal already solved this problem, respect the engine, use the system. Okay, what this unlocks next, the gravity. Okay, I think I see. I just want to see what this part actually does, so let's go ahead and copy this part real quick. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this here. Inside my constructor, I want to paste this and see what it does first, because usually before I do like write code and all that stuff, I do see how it works type stuff. Get character movement is showing me a red underline. Okay, so you character movement. Okay, before this, I think I need something in my header file, so let's go all the way up here. Okay, you don't see this yet, so I gotta add 3 things. So gravity scale. So all this go in my header files. Get character movement. Gravity scale equals to 1.0 f. Jump z velocity. Okay, this all goes in my constructor, but I see a red underline up there. Okay, here's the thing. I'm so confused sometimes when it comes to this part. Like, is Unreal giving me this red underline just because it's making a mistake or something, or is it an actual red underline? Let me go ahead and run the code to find out. Am I going to run into an error? Result failed, other compilation error. So it's something wrong with the code. Okay, let's go with something like Control-C. Copy this, get sensei/chat-GPT here. And guys, give me a sec actually. Let me actually I think there's some background noises real quick. I'll be right back in just like about 30 seconds. Already mic testing. Okay, let's come back to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this. You're getting a okay, so let's go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say something like Sensei. That is my .c++ code, but I do, let's say something like I do get a red underline. Okay, for the what's it called, player movement. Let's go ahead and copy this part. So there we go. Let's copy these 3 things and paste it here. Okay, here's the thing. Do I get an underline because it says get character movement? I think get character movement function is correct. So let's go ahead and paste this here. Okay, and while it says replying, let's go ahead and eat something real quick. Maybe I go with something like So there we go. Okay, the red underline is your compiler screaming, I don't know what get character movement is yet, and that's right. What actually went wrong? No guessing. Character movement returns a uCharacter movement component, but a C++ is a strict petty language. If you don't explicitly include the header for that component, it pretends it doesn't exist. Unreal hides this. Sometimes C++ does not forgive the fixed one-line maximum power at the top of your C++ file at this line. Okay, so I did need to include something. That makes sense. So I gotta go ahead and include my character movement component from my game framework, and I gotta include its header files. Okay, your header should look something like this. I see. Okay, that's it. No rewires, no refactors, no rituals. Why this matters important for your future. Okay, I think I see. So all I gotta do is go ahead and include my character movement components. So I'm gonna go ahead and include it real quick. Okay, let's go with something like hashtag include. Maybe something like from my game framework. Let's go with something like game framework. So there we go. Okay, let's go with something like game framework. Okay, I want to go ahead and include something. I want to include character movement component. Let's go with something like character movement component. So character movement component. There we go. Okay, .h, which is character movement components, is header files. And then once I'm done with that, I can actually get to use these. Okay, that was something new. I didn't know about that stuff. That's it. Let's go ahead and hit something like Control S to save the code. Now, once I'm done with that, is there anything else that I need to do? Let's get some say/chat here. Let's say something like, let's say that. Now, is there anything else that I need to do? Question mark. Need to do question mark. Because guys, gravity like this feels like way easier than it actually should have. Honestly, I feel like gravity should be like a bit harder than this. Okay, listen up people, don't get comfy yet. Gravity working is not the same as gravity done. I see. You just open the door. Now check if the houses collapse. Here's the next thing. So first you're using character or a pawn. I'm using a character. If it's a character, Unreal already gives you a character movement component. That thing is a physics monster. Gravity, falling, jumping, slopes. It's all there. If it's a pawn, then congrats, you signed up for manual labor. Gravity is a responsibility. Second, confirm these settings. No guessing. Enable gravity is on. Sounds obvious, but people mess this up daily. A gravity scale is not 0. Default is 1. Your collision capsule is actually colliding with the floor. Block, not overlap. If your character falls forever or floats like a ghost, one of these is wrong. Third, test they fall properly. Lift the character high above the ground and press play. If they fall, gravity works. If they snap, jitter, or hover, something is fighting gravity, usually collision or movement logic. Fourth, you do not need animations yet. Read that again slowly. Jumping and gravity are gameplay, not visuals. I see. You can jump perfectly with a static mesh. Animations come after control. Feels good. Anyone who animates before mechanics is decorating a car with no engine. Guys, decorating a car with no engine is kind of crazy. That's it. Let's see now what you should learn next, and this is important. Next stream, guys. Why since I keep saying next stream, I want to do it this stream. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me say something like, so I want my mesh to jump using my space bar this stream, and I want him to be affected by gravity as well, and I am using a character class. Okay, let's see. Maybe I go ahead and eat something real quick. Okay, good. This is the correct next move. Okay, core truth. Burn this in your brains if you're using a character. Okay, what you need: input mapping spacebar jump. You need an input action bound to jump. If you're using enhanced input action, IA jump triggers spacebar value. Okay, maybe one step at a time. You're not using enhanced input spacebar to jump, called jump when pressed, called Stop jump when released. Oh, that's actually genius. Unreal already knows what jump means. Character movement settings. Open character. Character movement component. Check these. Gravity scale 1. Jump Z velocity. Okay. Character movement settings. Open character. Character movement component. Should I have not done that with code? Let me say something like one step at a time, maybe at a time, maybe question mark. I'm so confused right now. Okay, let's see. Okay, freeze, breathe. Okay, let's see. One step at a time. Do not touch code yet. Okay, so we're not going with code right now. We're fixing a few settings. Step 2, input. This is it. This is the whole step. Go to project settings, input or enhanced input, whichever you're using. Okay. Action name, jump key, spacebar. Let's do one step at a time. So I'm gonna go ahead and open here. Project settings. Under my inputs, I'm gonna go to axis mapping. I want another axis mapping. This is gonna be called something like jump. Excuse me, guys, and my jump is gonna be initiated if I hit something like spacebar. Okay. Now, once I click spacebar, okay, that is step 2. Okay, step 3, one line of logic, a mental note, not code. When spacebar is pressed, okay, jump. When spacebar is released, stop jumping. You're not inventing physics, you're ringing a doorbell that already exists. I'm actually trying to think how this works. Test, no expectations, press spacebars. One of two things can happen. Character goes up, good we win. Character does nothing, also good we learn what's missing. Wait, that's supposed to be easy in that case, right? Shouldn't I be adding any kind of functions? Wait, did ChatGPT say me to add some kind of functions to... Okay, when spacebar is pressed, Unreal runs jump. When it's released, stop jumping. Could it be just because of all these things here? Maybe I'm going to go ahead and control S here real quick. Open my Unreal Engine now. Yo, Samurai, howdy, Roger, OPVR. Appreciate you joining the stream. It's been a while since we spoke last. That's it now. I thought it's something like Control Alt F11 to compile my code. Let's see what happens. Not axis mapping, you need action mapping. Oh wait, is there a difference between... Okay, I've honestly never used action mapping. Let me try that real quick. So let's open this. I might delete my axis mapping from here. And let's go ahead and create a action mapping. For this, I'm going to go ahead and call this something like jump. Okay, let's go here. This is going to be spacebar. Now let's go to untitled, hit Control Alt F11. Actually, Control Alt F11. There we go. Okay, hi doing Sundar. I appreciate you joining the stream. Jump input is not an axis, but it's an action. Oh, I thought I'm going to move on towards the Z axis, which is like up and down. That's it. I think I was wrong type stuff. Now let's go ahead and run the code real quick. Let's see what happens. If I hit spacebar, nothing. Okay, if I hit spacebar, nothing happens, but I can move forward, backwards, left, right. Okay, let's go ahead and escape real quick. Let's get some things like ChatGPT. Sorry, short. Is your voice alright? Honestly, now it does feel much better. I feel like it was like awful back when I had a sore throat type stuff. Actually, I had a viral infection, honestly. That's it. Let's say something like, let's say, I ran the code, but I can't. Actually, I ran the program, okay, but my mesh does not jump. Honestly, guys, I did not expect it to jump as well because I knew there was something missing. That less content, there's no way that's like all we need for like gravity type stuff. Most common trap, you're using a character already has gravity, jump physics, okay. Only input bound correctly. Okay, do not add anything else. Only the code you add. Do not add anything else. You must bind action. I did not bind action. Let me say something like, let's say I did not bind the action. And also, I feel like the explanation was kind of vague. So, let me try to phrase this properly. Okay, so basically what I was trying to say is, let's go with something like, do I need to add a move? Actually, do I need to add a jump function and a stop jumping function? Functions in my .h file question mark. Okay, under my move forward, move right. Let's go with something like move right and turn functions. And then once I'm done with that, inside my .c++ file, should I add some content inside my jump and stop jumping functions question mark? And then should I access actually, and then should I bind it inside my player input component? Okay guys, I feel like my typos were kind of awful here. Okay, let's see. Whilst it says writing, maybe I go ahead and just grab a bite real quick. Short answer though, you don't need to write your own function. Write your own okay. Why? Because a character has this, and a character already has jump, stop jumping, gravity, physics, for logic. Okay, rewriting them now, you would be like rebuilding a wheel while sitting in a car that already moves. What you actually need to do, mental note, do not create jump, you only connect jump to input. Okay, so correct flow, input system detects spacebar. I see, so if my input detects spacebar, input calls jump, character movement handles physics. Okay, you're missing two steps. What functions do in code? Inside setup component. Okay, bind action, not access. Okay, bind directly to the existing function. Okay, maybe let me say something like auto possess player 0. That is correct. Okay, let me say something like, let's say, how do I bind action without having a function question mark? Or like usually I need a name of my access, then the object, and lastly a function. Okay, but since I don't create a function, how would I do that question mark? Because I am like used to, guys, I didn't want to write that in caps. I didn't actually want to, whatchamacallit, I'm used to like actually adding accesses, but I've never worked with like action mapping type stuff, so this is going to be something new. The key idea I'm missing, click this into what bind really wants. Bind needs action name, input event, press released, object, a function pointer. Okay, so player input component, bind access. I want to bind jump, bind action. So I gotta bind action. Jump IE pressed. Okay, input pressed. I'm assuming this a character jump. Player input component, stop jumping. So are these two functions already inside my character's class? So I just gotta go with IE pressed and IE released. Let's try that, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a few player components. So I'm gonna go with something like a player input component. There we go, which is going to be pointing towards something like bind action. I'm going to go with something like bind action with a pair of parentheses. Okay, I want to go ahead and bind something. Let's bind something like a jump. Okay, I want to go ahead and bind something like IE pressed. Bind action matches the argument list edit type. I mean, I gotta go with something like IE underscore pressed. Let's go with IE underscore pressed. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with something like this. I want to go ahead and get the memory address of something like my character. Let's go with something like a scope resolution operator of, I don't know, maybe move left. So let's see. So I gotta go with jump. Do I have a jump method? This gotta be like your uppercase J. Okay, so my character class actually does have a jump method. I want to see what it does though. Like, I wanted to create it myself because like I've been working with SDL games and all that stuff where I had to manually add these things and all that stuff. So I'm kind of used to adding my own jump method and all that. Okay, that's it. I mean, even though it does give me pre-made, is it going to be smart to actually add these methods myself for practice? That's it. I'm going to go with something like action. This is going to be called something like jump as well, so I'm going to go with something like jump. If my spacebar pressed, actually if my spacebar is released, okay, you don't have to repeat what you're doing where, okay, I see. That's it. Let's go ahead and open ChatGPT first and say, so I have jump, i.e. release. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like IE underscore release. There we go, and then I want to go ahead and release this my object here, and then I'm going to go with the adversive operator of something like my character. This is going to say something like stop jumping. Okay, so I think I spelled release wrong. Okay, did I spell release wrong? Guys, how do you spell release? R-E-L-E-S-E-D. Oh, so it's not release, it's released. Okay, so apparently this should be it, and this is going to be player component. I gotta like change the P to be capital. There we go. Okay, and then end this with a semicolon. Apparently, if I would hit Control S to save the code here, open my or get my Unreal Engine up here, hit Control Alt F11 to compile my code. Let's see what happens. Waiting for it to patch. My bad, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. You're good. Honestly, I appreciate you. Varun, is that a your name? That actually means the world to me. Now let's go ahead and exit this. If I were to go ahead and hit something like the run button to run the code, hit space bar. I do jump. I mean, even if I do jump, I mean, it's good and all that stuff, but I wanted to actually write the logic myself. I don't know. I don't think it's recommended to write the logic if like my class already has that stuff inbuilt. Okay, I mean, this wasn't that hard in that case. All I had to do was include character movement component from my game framework. Then I had to set my character movement to, okay, to point towards my gravity scale. Okay, these function, it might be kind of complicating, so I gotta like, I tried function, what are these called? They're called fields. Excuse me guys, I see. Okay, why are you talking like e-girl? Guys, talking like e-girl is kind of crazy. That's it, let's see. So gravity scale, and guys, I don't know, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like jump z velocity, which is going to be equal to something like 650. Maybe I might actually just, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna go with get character movement. I gotta go with gravity scale. Okay, how fast I fall down. Jump, actually gravity scale is the strength of my gravity. Jump velocity is, let's see, maybe I want to read what these things does again, because I don't think I can actually phrase them myself. Let's scroll all the way up here until there were these explanations. Maybe I think it's here. There we go. Okay, bro, say e-girl. Guys, e-girl is kind of crazy. That's it. Let's see. So, gravity scale equals to 1 higher if you want. So, what do they do? Let's see. Okay, let me go ahead. I mean, I could have just asked what it meant, but I think it was already up here somewhere. So, let's see. Guys, I'm positive there was like an explanation of what the gravity scale and all that stuff does. Let's see, let me scroll all the way down here. I think it's here. I mean, I could go ahead and just copy and ask it. Okay, guys, I think it's gonna like save so much more time if I like copy this stuff. Let's go ahead and copy this. Okay. The AI one's called bro she. Guys, I don't know why it's like in the big 2026 that says you my gender. Okay, let's go ahead and paste. Let's go with chip enter and say something like, Sensei, can you explain me what this does, question mark? Okay, I do want to like understand what this does. Also, I recommend cursor. First month is free and 1 year is free if you're a student. Oh, I see. Does it have to be like a college student? Because I am like a freshman in college. That's it. Good. You're asking the right questions now. This is physics, not magic, and yes, it's simpler than it looks. Okay, take a breath, one line at a time. Get character movement. Guys, why is everything laggy all of a sudden? There we go. This returns a U character component. Okay. Translation. This is the brain that hand is walking, falling, jumping, gravity, air control. If you're using a character, Unreal already weird gravity, Unreal already weird gravity jumping for you. Okay. Wired gravity and jumping for you. You're just turning the knobs. Gravity scale equals to 1.2. This multiplies the gravity. Okay, this multiplies the gravity 1. Normal earth gravity 1.2. Heavier, snappier fall 0.5. float, moonlight gravity, 2 plus a very heavy fast drop. This does not create gravity. Gravity already exists. This scales how strong it pulls. So the gravity scale scales my gravity, how fast it pulls it downwards. Okay, jump Z velocity equals to 650 centimeters per frame. This is the upwards force applied when jump is called. Okay, I see. So it's Z velocity. Oh, I see. So when jump is called, I push myself upwards. Z-axis, up/down, velocity, initial push forwards. Think physics. Higher value, higher jump. Lower value, short hop. This happens once at the moment of jumping. After that, gravity takes over. Important, this is not jump high directly. Gravity still fights. Okay, air control 0.3F. This controls how much you can move while in the air. I see 0, no steering mid-air, 0.3, some control, platform style, 1 full ground control level in the air. I see. This affects move forward, move right. Okay, that actually does make sense. I think I understand what all these means. So there is air control, there is jump Z velocity, and there is gravity scale. Okay, yes, it's free for college students. All you need is a valid edu email. It's integrated in the terminal, so you don't have to keep going to ChatGPT. Use it professionally at work. It really helps. I might actually try it in that case, because like moving tabs always does get kind of tedious. That's it. Maybe let me just go ahead and eat something real quick. Okay, that's it. I think I understand. All I gotta include is character movement component. I want to see ya win. See ya next time. I want to say I appreciate you sticking through a stream, bro, and I'll catch you next stream. That's it. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all this stuff. Okay, because I do want to actually see if I understood this part properly. So I'm gonna delete this and add my movement and gravity at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this part. And guys, gravity was way easier than I expected it to be. Or way easier than I anticipated it to be. Let's go ahead and delete that. So game character movement component. There we go. Okay, then from my character, I'm going to go ahead and remove my spring arm component and my camera component. Let me get my mouse there. There we go. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to remove my methods. Let's go ahead and remove my camera. Boom. Okay, and that's like pretty much it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start everything from the beginning to see if I actually understood everything. So this is going to be the basic template that everyone gets when they like create a character class. Firstly, I want to go ahead and do something. Let's say I want to go ahead and include something from my game framework. I want to go with something like game framework. There we go, game framework / I'm going to go with something like camera, actually spring arm component. Let's go with something like spring arm component. Component. Okay, .h, which is spring arm component, and spring arm components is header files. And then I'm going to go ahead and include, let's say something like okay, this is going to be framework. Work is going to be lower. Okay, then I'm going to go with something like camera / camera component. .h, which is camera and camera components is header files. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go under my begin play, which is under my protected section. And I'm going to do something. Firstly, I want to go ahead and add a comment that says something like move, turn, rotate. Let's go with something like turn and then rotate. Okay, functions, move, turn, rotate functions. Okay, so this is going to be where I add my function that actually moves my player, turns my player, and rotates my player type stuff. So I'm going to go with something like a void method or something like move forward. Let's go with something like move forward. Okay, with a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter of value ending with a semicolon. Then I'm going to go with a void method of something like move backwards. Let's go with backwards, which requires a floating point or backward. Actually, I think right would make more sense. Brad's been writing same stuff for the 4th time or so now in this GTA. In this speed, GTA 6 will be out before bro's game is done. Guys, actually that does make sense, but I don't want to actually like rush the process, because there are like so many function names and like so many syntax that I might forget if I don't like practice enough with them. This is the harder part whenever I like start learning something new. It's like I gotta like write stuff again and again to understand how the syntaxes work and how the basic logic of the stuff works. Later on, it gets like much easier once I do know what those things do and I want to add my own logic to it type stuff. That's it. I'm going to go with another void method called something like turn. with a pair of parentheses that requires the floating point parameter of value. There we go. Ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with all this, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment and create something like a camera boom, which is basically, I might want to change the name. Like, camera boom doesn't even make sense. I want to call it something like a selfie stick. I don't know, maybe I might go with something like selfie stick. There we go. Okay, so for my selfie stick, I'm gonna go ahead and create a U property. Let's go with something like property. Okay, which requires a parameter that says it's going to be visible anywhere. Guys, I gotta make sure my spelling is correct. Secondly, I want my blueprint to be able to read my selfie stick, so I'm gonna go with something like blueprint read only. So I'm gonna go with something like blueprint read only. And then my category is gonna be my camera. So I'm gonna add a category. I'm gonna set that equal to something like camera because my selfie stick is gonna be inside my camera section. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create something like a use spring arm component. Spring arm component. There we go with it, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like selfie stick. Okay, and guys, the reason I go with selfie stick is like it sounds much better than like camera boom. Like, what does that even make sense? Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go with something like follow camera, which is going to be my actual camera. When I say follow camera, I mean like it's going to be following my selfie stick type stuff because my selfie stick is attached to my camera. So where that moves, my actual camera moves. So I'm going to go ahead and create a U property. Let's go with something like U property. Okay, which says it's going to be visible anywhere. Okay, and I want it to be blueprint read only, so I'm gonna go with something like blueprint read only. There we go. And then I want to set a category, which is going to be equal to something like camera. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and create something like a U camera component. There we go. Okay, which is going to be represented by a pointer. I think I spelled component wrong. There we go, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like follow camera. Okay, and then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now let's go inside my C++ file. Inside my C++ file, I want to go ahead and include my character movement component because I will be adding gravity and jump logic. So I'm going to go with something like include. I'm going to say something like from my game framework. Okay, I want to go ahead and include something. I want to include my character movement component. There we go, .h, which is character movement components is header files. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and add a few things or define a few things inside of my constructor. Firstly, I want to go ahead and create a default sub-object for my selfie stick and my follow camera. So I'm going to go with something like selfie stick, okay, which is going to be equal to create default camera components. Let's go with something like camera components. Okay, there we go, which is going to be having a pair of anchor braces. I'm going to go ahead and use my spring arm component here. I think I spelled component wrong. There we go. Okay, create default, my bad guys, create default sub-object. There we go, let's go with something like sub-object. Okay, camera boom is what they call a camera attached to a stick like a rig the film industry. Oh, I see, that's where the name is taken from. Okay, wait, in that case, I might actually change it to camera boom because like I've never heard of that. But if like people actually use it and it's just not like a random name, I actually might use that. Okay, camera boom is what they call camera attached to a stick like a rig in the film industry. I see, this is where the name is taken from. So I might change this to something like camera boom. Let's go with something like camera boom. So this is where this is going to be attached to my stick like rig. Okay, then I'm going to go here and let's change it to something like camera boom. Honestly, I feel like selfie stick and this is the same thing, but if this is like used with like if this is like used globally with like a lot of people, like if this is like an actual terminology, I might actually use that. So I'm going to go ahead and create a camera default sub-object. Let's go ahead and add a use spring arm component. Let's go with a spring arm component. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Fix my typo first. Let's go with something like create default sub object. Let's go with something like sub object. So there we go. Okay, did I spell something wrong? Is my camera components spelling wrong? Wait, did I write camera boom here? So CAMERA. There we go, it's correct. And then I'm gonna add a pair of parentheses that say something like text. My text is gonna be something like camera boom. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon. And then next up, I'm gonna go ahead and set a few attributes for my camera boom. Firstly, I wanna attach a root component to it. So I'm gonna go with my camera boom. Since it is a pointer, I can use the arrow mark operator. I wanna point my camera boom towards my setup attachment. Let's go with something like setup attachment with a pair of parentheses or something like root component. There we go. So now I can actually see my camera move as well. Google camera boom, maybe you'll understand why. Actually, let's go with something like what is a camera boom question mark. Okay, let's get this tab here. Let's get the project there. Let's go ahead and extend this from here. Okay, let's go ahead and extend this from here as well. Okay, a camera boom likely refers to a boom shot, which is a type of camera movement that involves moving the camera vertically up or down. Oh, I see. Okay, this technique is commonly used in filmmaking to create a dynamic vertical camera movement, adding depth or grandeur, is that how I pronounce it, to a scene. Boom shots, okay, also known as a jib shots or crane shots, they allow filmmakers to capture expansive shots by moving the camera or on a mechanical arm. Or oh, so this is my spring arm, I see. Maybe I go to images. Guys, I don't want to get a copyright here. There we go. Okay, so I think I see what that means. That actually makes so much sense. Now I understand what camera boom actually means. That said, let's go ahead and add, let's say something like another stuff here. So I'm gonna go ahead and point my camera boom to be pointing towards, let's say something like my target arm length. There we go. I'm gonna set that equal to something like 700.0f. Anyway, they semicolon. Basically, what the target arm length does, it keeps my camera's boom, like my spring arm or like my stand, further away, 700 pixels away from my actual mesh. So there's like some space and I'm not like completely stuck at my face, or it's not completely stuck at my face. And then next, I'm gonna go ahead and add another camera boom. Let's go with camera boom. It's gonna be pointing towards BU spawn control rotation. I'm gonna set that equal to true, ending with a semicolon. Basically, what the BU spawn control rotation does is it helps me rotate my camera using my blueprint as well, like inside of my Unreal Engine. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and create a default sub object for my follow camera as well. I'm gonna set that equal to the create default sub object. There we go. And then I'm gonna add prof ankle braces. This is gonna be my actual camera component. So I'm gonna go with something like U camera component. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a pair of parentheses here. Go with something like text. My text is gonna be something like follow camera. Let's go with something like follow camera. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm gonna add a few attributes. The first attribute that I'm gonna be adding is let's say a attachment of my root component, because root component is actually what makes us move our objects or our cameras on the Unreal Engine. So I'm gonna go with something like my follow cameras pointer is going to be pointing towards the setup attachment. There we go, with a pair of parentheses for something like my root component. But once I fix my typo here, this is going to be follow camera. Okay, and then setup attachment. Okay, this is going to be something like my root component. Let's go with root component. There we go, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go ahead and let my blueprint have access to this as well. So I'm going to go with something like follow camera's pointer is going to be pointing towards my blueprint use camera control rotation. Actually, blueprint use spawn control rotation. Okay, I do want my blueprint to have access to this honestly, so I'm going to set this to be false, ending with a semicolon. because I want to move my camera as a stand. I don't actually want to move my camera, if that makes any sense. And that's like pretty much it. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and add my gravity as well. So details for my gravity. Firstly, I'm gonna go with something like character movement. Let's go with character movement component. Okay, and then I'm gonna be pointing towards character movement component. Okay, I forgot this part actually. I know I needed gravity scale, but what points towards gravity scale? Is it my character movement component? Maybe I copy that part, paste it here. Okay, gravity scale is going to be equal to 1.2, running point, ending with a semicolon. Okay, let's see. So, character movement component is wrong. I needed something else. Let me actually check because I forgot this part. This is like the newer part. Get character movement. So, I gotta use the get character movement. But isn't that like a function? What up, guys? Oops, I opened my file explorer real quick. Okay, let's scroll all the way down and a bit up, a bit higher, because I forgot my function name. Okay, let's see. I think it's like a bit higher. What up, guys? There we go. Okay, it's a bit more higher. I mean, I could have seen it from my that code. So get character movements, this function is going to be pointing towards. There we go. Okay, because that is the part. This is like the newer part, so I don't know the actual syntax and wordings for it. So I go with something like get character movement. It's going to be pointing towards my gravity scale, which is going to be 1.2. And then I'm going to go with something like get character movement. This function is going to be pointing towards. Let's go with IntelliSense. I think it's going to be something like air control. So I need air control as well. So I'm going to go with something like air control, which is going to be equal to 0.3 because I want to be able to move 0.3 centimeters while I'm in the air. So move a bit forward when I jump every time. If I want to move forward, that is. And then I might need something like, so let's go with something like get character movement. So I'm going to go with something like get character movement. This function, this is going to be pointing towards something. Let's go with something like my z location. It's something like get z velocity. Get z velocity. Okay, I forgot the z velocity function. What up, guys? It's something like z. Okay, so velocity, jump z velocity. Okay, I think it was not jump z velocity. Hold up, guys. It is jump z velocity. Guys, these are the new functions. It's a bit hard to actually remember it. So I'm going to go with something like jump z velocity. There we go. Which is going to be equal to, let's see, what do I want my jump z velocity to be? Maybe like 650.0 floating point with a semicolon. This is basically the centimeters per frame that I can jump up. So like 650, I can jump 650 centimeters up, but my gravity pulls me down as well. Okay, that's it. That's actually pretty much it. Now, inside my player component, I want to go ahead and bind a bunch of things, but before I bind them, under my begin play, I want to go ahead and add a few void methods. So my first void method, question, do you even know what you're doing in the constructor? Actually, yeah, the constructor is just to define the settings and all that stuff. For example, the camera boom setup attachment root component, it's the same exact thing like what I did back when I was using my blueprint class. I went up to the plus button, type something like capsule component. It was something like that. But instead of adding a root component like that, I like use the arrow mark operator to point exactly towards the location and set my parameter to be root component, if that made any sense, guys. That's it. I went with target arm length. This is exactly the same as these transform buttons here, like my location and all that stuff. So right now it's set to like 208. Maybe I go ahead and extend this a bit. There we go. So I could manually increase this size or like decrease that size up, and I could even like increase and decrease this size from here as well. But I gotta go ahead and do this with my character. Hold up, guys, not my character. Let's go with something like my camera boom. This is my stand. Okay, let's go with something like follow camera. There. So if I go forwards, I go backwards in here. So basically, the thing that I added up here of my target arm length, that's in charge of that. and my camera, which is pointing towards my blueprint use point control rotation, I'm assuming that that's in charge of me being able to edit it from here type stuff, if that makes any sense. And the same thing goes for like follow camera as well. And now for my get character movement, what the gravity scale and all this does, these actually replace my functions that I actually have here. So I have a move, turn, rotate functions here because these functions were not actually integrated inside my Unreal Engine. But if I wanted, I could actually add these functions, or like the air control, jump, z velocity, and gravity scale under my these functions right here as well. So I could, but I'll have to like go ahead, once I add those functions and the parameters like I did those for here, I gotta go ahead and add those functions here as well, and like tell it to do what I actually wanted to do. Guys, I made that sound real complicated. In the constructor, basically hard coding the stuff that you typically set up in the editor. You're adding the sub objects by code instead of adding them in the editor like a sane developer. Oh, I see. That actually does make sense. Hard coding the stuff. Actually, that does make sense. Like hard coding would make sense, but I feel like it gives much more flexibility, and I do like coding as well because like I do not like to go and do this in manual. I like to actually write what I do type stuff. That's it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and create a void. Let's go with something like a my character, okay, which is going to be pointing towards, let's say, something like maybe the move forwards class. I'm gonna go with something like move forward, okay, with a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter of value. And guys, basically what I meant by I'll have to like create the functions in my header files here that define them inside my C++. I meant exactly like this. So I created a move forwards function here. Then I'm defining what it does inside of my C++ file. I could go with something like, let's see, add movement input, okay, with a pair of parentheses. Like how I add my movement inputs here, I gotta just do that with my gravity scale, air control, and jump z velocity. But since Unreal already does that for me, I don't really need to do that here. That would be extra coding. I'm down for that though, but I feel like I might learn that later on. Now my add movement input requires two parameters, world direction and a scale, which is going to be my value parameter here. So my world direction is going to be the get actor forward vector. There we go. So this is going to be my get actor forward vectors function. That is my world direction. Am I facing forwards or backwards? Second is going to be my value parameter, okay, which is am I facing negative? Actually, am I moving negative or like positive direction? Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and create another void method. This is going to be a my character. Let's go with a my characters class. I'm going to go ahead and call the move right function, okay, which requires a floating point parameter of value. Then I go with the pair of curly braces. I just feel he's spitting GPT slop code. Guys, I feel like I'm actually explaining what I do type stuff. That said, even if it does look like ChatGPT's code, I feel like right now, since it is just like my 6th or like my 5th day, I'm understanding the logic, and like I wouldn't be able to understand the logic without like copying and like learning like reference codes and all that stuff. But later on, once I do understand where all these function everything does, I do like implementing my own logic to it and using it like different program type stuff. Hard coding is not making it flexible, lol. It's the opposite of flexible, as it's hard coded. Flexibility is using the editor to set the values. Actually, that does make sense, but then I feel like for some reason, whatchamacallit, writing the code makes me feel much better than actually setting it through the editor. I don't know why actually. I feel like this feels so much cooler, honestly. Let's go with something like vector, but I do want to eventually learn the editor as well. That's it. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to go with something like value, ending with a semicolon. Those are my two functions. Now I'm going to go with my third one. Let's go with something like my character. Let's go with something like character with a scope resolution operator of something like turn, which requires a floating point parameter of value. Let's go with something like value with a pair of curly braces. Now I'm going to go ahead and add something like add controller yaw inputs. Let's go with the yaw inputs. Basically what the add controller yaw input does is it like helps me turn to the left and to the right. In the other hand, pitch input helps me look upwards or downwards depending on what I'm clicking type stuff. This requires a floating point parameter. Actually, it requires a parameter of my value. There we go. Ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done adding my functions here, I'm gonna go under my player input component. Let's go with something like player input component. I'm gonna be binding access and actions. I added a few access mappings and one action mapping for me jumping up and down, because jumping and gravity are actions, they're not accesses. But moving my player forward, backwards, turning to the left and right, those are like axis. So firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and add a bind axis with a pair of parentheses. I want to bind my move forward. And guys, if you're wondering where's the move forward from, if I were to go to my Unreal Engine, now bro, they want you losing. Guys, want you losing is kind of crazy. Hey bro, you can make a can you make a binary trading bot based on strategy? Honestly, I actually don't think I could make that for the time being, but that does sound kind of cool. Can you make a binary trading bot based on a strategy? I know binary is like ones and zeros, but I haven't ever tried that. That's it. How are you doing? Pupinder, is that how I pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that was I guys, I actually forgot. So in my project settings, I have my under my axis mapping, I have move forward, move right, and jump. Why do I have a jump here? Let me go ahead and delete that. Okay, instead I need a turn. Let's go ahead and add a turn. I want a turn depending on my mouse clicks, so I'm gonna go with something like mouse x-axis. There we go. Okay, so I have my move forward, move right, and turn. That's the reason I use move forward here, because first I'm in charge to link my move forwards' input with what my user is actually typing and what my function tells me to do here. So I'm gonna go with something like this, because my object is this. I want to move this object forward, the character class that I'm coding in right now. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do something here. Let's go with something like my character. So this is gonna be my characters class. I'm gonna go ahead and get the move forwards as method. There we go. And then let's end this with a semicolon. Okay, alright, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go with something like player input components. Let's go with player input components. There we go. Okay, which is going to be pointing towards. Let's go with something like another bind axis. I want to bind my axis again, but my bind axis requires three parameters. It requires a axis name, which in this case, now it's going to be my move right. That was in charge of me moving left and right. What do I want to move? The object. My object is going to be this, the object that I'm currently working on. And then the third is going to be function. What do I want to do when that input is pushed? I'm going to go with something like my character. Okay, let's go with something like move right. Ending with a semicolon. Okay, that's pretty much it for my moving left, right, front, and back. Now I'm going to go with something like player input component. I'm going to be adding another player input component. There we go. Which is going to be having a bind axis as well. So I'm going to go with something like bind axis. I want to go ahead and set this to be turn for my turns as axis mapping. Now I'm going to go with something like this. And then I'm going to go with something like my character. Are you going to make your own game? If it is, what will it be like genre? Honestly, yeah, I am. By the end of my programming for like 250 series, I do want a game in general that consists of AI logic. The game that I am actually thinking is like my player, actually my user, oh, I actually bit my lip. My user can talk to my NPCs. Depending on what my user actually talks to my NPC, my NPC replies depending on his mood as well. Like more like an NPC user talking game, because if I couldn't do that, I'll like go with like a general AI based game where like my enemy chases my player, but if my player is out of a certain radius, he won't be chasing my player. That does sound kind of complicated, because I didn't like completely think that whole thing through, because I still am learning the Unreal Engine, so I want to see what all it can do and can't do type stuff. And depending on that, I want to actually like add my stuff. That said, guys, I feel like I'm awful at racing these kind of things. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and add another player component or player input component, which is going to be pointing towards a bind action. Okay, wait, before I actually do that, maybe I want to go ahead and add a comment here. Let's go with something like bind axis. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another comment that says something like bind action, because I feel the two of them are different, so I gotta like sectionize them, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna go with something like action. Okay, let's bind the action. Now for binding an action, I want to bind my jump action to, let's say, IE release, actually IE press, IE underscore press. There we go. I know there was IE press and IE release. Was it something like this? I forgot this part. Bind action jump IE press, and then I was gonna go with something like this. I want to add this content for this object. And my function is gonna be something like my character. And guys, if you can't actually see the code, because I don't think I can like shrink the code up, you guys could like move on to the horizontal, like see my entire window type stuff. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like my character. Let's go with a scope resolution operator of something like a jump. Okay, perfect. Ending with a semicolon. Now my IE press, it should be something different. I know there was something like IE release. Let's go with IntelliSense. IE pressed. Okay, I think it was pressed and not pressed. And then I'm going to go with something like a player to input component. Okay, I'm going to bind another action to it. Let's go with something like bind action. I want to bind my jump action. This time, I'm going to check if my IE is released, if my spacebar is released. Okay, then I want to go ahead and release it on this object, and then I'll go with something like my character. I understand the same function, try to put it where the wins beat game, where they put GPT in NPC to talk and make functions and make friends with NPC in game. That's exactly what I meant, guys. I feel like I couldn't phrase that part better. Okay, let's go with something like jump. But I feel like many of you guys did say me, like, if I want like a bot, like a chatbot inside my game, that is going to be taking like a lot of hard work type stuff, and like it's really hard because like generative AI is different from like game AI. But I was thinking, what if we add a generative AI inside our game AI as an actual NPC? That's it about it. Control S here, hit Control S here. Open my Unreal Engine here. Let's hit Control Alt F11 to compile my code. Let's see what happens. Maybe I eat some oats, guys. I'm starving really bad. Guys, I was prepared for the build to be failed here. BISIBLE read only category. This is going to be equal to camera. I had a small typo there. And then a really important stuff, I keep forgetting this. This is going to be the memory address. Let's go ahead and add memory addresses. There we go. The address of operator and the address of operator. Now if I hit Control S here, hit Control S here. Okay, boom. Bro, what are you having? Honestly, I am like eating oats because like I feel it gives me energy for like longer time. Let's hit Control Alt F11. While I'm doing that, let me actually show you guys. Let's go to my main camera. There we go. So apparently these are like oats. I don't want to like drop it or anything. How do I show you guys without dropping it? Maybe I can just grab it in a spoon. There we go. So these are like the whole grain oats type stuff. I feel like I'm actually trying to like the taste of them as well, because like these, they give me energy for so long, because like I've been talking for so long, so I get like really hungry type stuff. I guess that's a free short content. Let's go to streaming game. Actually, my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, perfect. Oh, it's honestly, yeah, it is like oats with black coffee. I feel like it's one of the best combos out there. That's it. Now let's go ahead and something like run the code. I can move forward, I can move backward, I can move towards the left, I can move towards the right, I can jump as well. Perfect. In Unreal, use behavior trees for game AI generally. Can't wait to see how you get it done, or when adding LLM chat is quite easy actually, both for remote and local. Oh, I see, that actually sounds so cool. I can't wait to do that myself as well. That's it. Oat Eater, let's go guys. I feel like oats is really good. Okay, Oats Eater. Now, once I'm done with that, okay, guys, I think I heard Oats Eater. Let's see. So, here's the thing. I feel like I actually understand my functions, but I'm not going to be like writing this part all over again. Instead, I want to do something else. I want to add, maybe next stream I'll go with collision, but for this stream, I want to do something. Let's see. Guys, let's not spam Oat Eater. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me go with something like here. Okay, let's put a 1 minute timeout. Guys, that's actually not spam. Okay, that's it. Let's see. So, still I see follow camera. Let's go with something like gravity scale, air control, jump velocity. Those are the three things that I gotta remember with gravity scale, air control, jump, z velocity. Okay, next stream I will be working with collision, but this stream I want to go ahead and add another class now for another object type stuff. Add some eggs to combine it with oats. It's best and good for health. That actually does make sense. Sometimes I do like what you may call it, use some oats here and then like I think crack 1 or 2 eggs, maybe add some cayenne pepper or something, some salt as well, or like some black pepper. Then I just whisk it with my fork and microwave it for like maybe 2ish minutes. When I get it off, it's like actually a like egg puff type stuff. I might make that as a cake for my birthday instead of like having an actual cake, because my birthday is like really soon. I think it's in like 10 days from now. Okay, let's see. So I have gravity scale, air control, jump velocity. Okay, what was I gonna do? I think I was gonna go ahead and add another character now. Oats is really good. Honestly, guys, it is actually pretty insane. Okay, put Cocoa Goo. Honestly, I've never heard of Cocoa Goo. I have strawberry flavored ready-made oats pack. Now I'll have it. That actually sounds so good. I have like the whole grain, like the plain oats type stuff. Like, I don't know, let me actually get it so I can actually show it to you guys. What up, guys? Let me go ahead and like grab it real quick. Give me a sec, guys. So let's see. Okay, I'm just walking in my hall right now. Maybe it's like right here. There we go. Okay, so I think it's like the Quaker's oats. What up, guys? Walking back right now. Give me a sec. I probably gotta like walk a bit faster. Okay, let's go ahead and go to my let's go to my main camera real quick. There we go. So this is basically the oats that I eat. It's like the Quaker's whole grain oats. I feel this is like really good. I had like a bigger box, like that's this box. I like refilled this with that giant box from oats type stuff. That's it. I guess I got another short content. Let's go to my gameplay screen again. Guys, I feel there are like a lot of short contents today. Let's go with something like 142. Let me just excuse me, guys. Let me just write the time. Let's go with something like 142.00. Okay, perfect. Now, once I'm done with that, let's see. Oats for birthday, guys. I feel that's kind of insane. Okay, go for it. Eat it. You guys have made me hungry for it. Guys, it actually does make sense. Like, it's actually like, really, really good. That's it now. Let's go for something like Duels, a new class. I want to go ahead and create another character class. I'm going to call this something like, maybe something like Mage. So I'm going to go with something like Mage. Excuse me, guys. And then I'm going to go with Create Class. I think Spec 1, I appreciate you joining the stream. Making that for my birthday. Guys, I actually might have that for like my birthday stream type stuff, because I thought that my birthday stream is going to be kind of plain, but maybe I might have a cooking stream on that. Okay, guys, I was kind of joking. I can't actually have a cooking stream because, like, okay, yeah, I'm boiling the milk. I honestly just eat oats and water. I mean, I feel like, whatchamacallit, like, my mom, she actually tells me to eat oats with milk instead of water, but I feel like milk just makes it a bit, well, intense taste type stuff, but I feel milk is pretty good as well. Okay, that's it. Now that I created a class here, let's go ahead and go to my classes, C++. I'm going to go ahead and get my mages class up here. Let's drag it here. And then maybe increase the position up here. Okay, I want my mage to be automated this time. Maybe I could add key controls too. Okay, water, yeah, you can have. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. Let's see. Are you going to learn Niagara 2 for VFX? Honestly, I have not heard of Niagara. But I do need to learn animation. Maybe before my program for like 250 series is over, I might have like a stream where I do try to like learn Blender and like make animations like meshes type stuff. Let me know if I gotta do that stuff. Okay, let's see. Now for my mages object here, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says something like static mesh. I'm gonna go ahead and create a static mesh here. Let's go ahead and add a mesh representing this. Still, let's scroll all the way down here. I'm gonna go ahead and type something like mage. There we go. Let's go ahead and add my mage's mesh here. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and decrease the size here. There we go. Okay, can I turn around? There we go. And guys, I feel like my mage is like really hard to like make real good mesh and all that stuff, because if I were to zoom close to my mage's mesh, you guys can see the half black stuff above his head, because I couldn't even fit. Like, I just outlined my my PNG in my actually in my Blender, then I just like added a texture on top of it, like a UV texture type stuff. Okay, now once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go somewhere to my project settings. Okay, I did add these contents, but this is for my character. I want to add separate ones for my mage as well. Learn about VRM and VVoid for free anime characters. Ooh, actually, I might actually because I want to like I instead of like what you may call it, getting like anime characters. I am like really scared of copyright, guys. I prefer like making them myself. That said, these are I don't think like these meshes are gonna be copyrighted because what you may call it. I saw a picture like online and then I like copy I like actually drew that in my actually in my tablet, guys. I cannot trace it, so I drew it in my tablet, but I did add like modifications type stuff. I feel that was kind of cool. I gotta do that more. Okay, it's an Unreal node function for VFX. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. Oh, if it's an Unreal, I might actually try that. Okay, that's it. But firstly, I do want to go ahead and reload all because I do have my mages class as well. Hmm. Okay, here's the thing. Should I automate my mage? Maybe I could actually automate my mage. So inside my functions, is there something that I want to do? Maybe I could go with something like a automate function here. So I'm gonna go with something like void automate. There we go. With a pair of parentheses, my automate function. This goes under my protector. There we go. Okay, my automate function requires let's say something like maybe I don't think I need a parameter up here. Okay, maybe I go to my C++ file real quick. Guys, I think I forgot how to automate here. I know inside of my begin player, I gotta go ahead and add something with my delta time. So maybe I gotta go ahead and get my direction. So I'm gonna go with something like f vector. Okay, okay, so my f vector is going to be represented by something like a directions is local variable. Let's go with something like direction. This is technically my world direction, ending with a semicolon. Okay, Niagara is for making VFX, particle effects, and other effects in Unreal. Wait, is it like a plugin that I gotta install up here? Let me actually ask Sensei/ChatGPT real quick because I am kind of curious about what that means. Okay, let me say something like, so let's go with something like, okay, Sensei, just curious, off topic. Someone from my chat said me to learn Niagara. They said that it's used to make VFX in Unreal Engine. Let's go with something like an Unreal Engine. Okay, let's see. Okay, as they are talking about Niagara, it's Unreal Engine's next generation particle and VFX system. Think of it like old system, Cascade, classic particles, new system, Niagara, way more powerful, flexible, GPU driven. I do not have a GPU. I do gotta actually get a GPU, but I feel like the GPU does cost like 200 bucks, so I feel like that's kind of hard to actually get, guys. That's it. Let's go with something like it's used to make all kinds of excuse me, guys. Okay, that's used to make all kinds of visual effects in Unreal: fire, smoke, explosions, sparks, magic spells, energy beams, trails, weather effects like rain or snow, complex environmental effects like dust swirling around a character. Niagara isn't for game logic or character movement. It's purely visible. You can control it with Blueprint or C++, and it even lets you react to gameplay events. For example, when your character jump spawns a dust pull-off landing, okay, then you hit an enemy spawn spark on fire. It's really fun, but it's advanced. If you focus on character movement, jumping, and gravity first, you'll be way stronger later when you finally do VFX. I see. Okay, that's not how you pronounce it. Honestly, not pronounced as Niagara. Let me ask, let's say something like, say, how to be pronounced Niagara. Okay, yep, it's very powerful, I see. Okay, it's pronounced as Niagara. Niagara? Okay, night without the T, so Niagara. Oh, Niagara. Niagara? What up, guys? Isn't there? I thought there was like a speak stuff here where we could actually listen to them talk. Okay, let's go ahead. Wait, Niagara. Niagara, there we go. Let's copy that. Maybe I go ahead here. Let's paste it and say how to pronounce. Okay, hi, howdy, Nickel. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's get this window here. So it's pronounced. Okay. Niagara. Oh, it's Niagara. There we go. Niagara makes sense. Guys, why does Nightbot keep flagging messages? Hi, bro. How are you doing, Nikhil? I appreciate you joining the stream. I gotta fix my night, but it actually does not. Whatchamacallit? Just ask Google. Honestly, I did ask Google. That's it. So it's Niagara. Okay, that's it. Back to my what I was doing here, trying to automate my mage. Now, how do I automate it? Let me think. So to automate my mage, I'm pretty sure I had to like multiply my direction, okay, by something. Okay, wait, let me actually go here. So let's go with Control C, copy that, get Sensei slash chat GPT real quick. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this, go with Shift Enter and see something like Sensei. I forgot how to automate. I was trying to automate my mage. Is there something that I messed up on? Question mark. Okay, bro, it's Niagara Falls. Honestly, I'm not like talking about the Niagara Falls, but then I was talking about the whatchamacallit, the function that's used to, not function, the place that's used to make VFX and like Unreal Engine type stuff. That's it. Listen up. Automation isn't magic. It's just telling the engine to move your character without input. Okay, look at this vector direction. That's supposed to do nothing. Add movement tick. So under my super tick vector. Okay, so F vector is going to be forward. Excuse me, guys. So forward vector. I see. Okay, AI control. So add movement input. Okay, so correct minimal version. I just gotta add movement input there. Okay, so I think it's just gotta be added in my ticks. Let's go ahead and remove this from here. Remove that from my mage's header files as well. So there we go. I'm curious, haven't you heard of Niagara Falls? Honestly, I have like heard of it. It's like a waterfall type stuff. But guys, I feel like I've been living under a rock, so like I don't know how these things that even exist outside. I mean, I have like heard of them, but I've never like visited them or something. Okay, what time is it, guys? Show the clock because like I had something in my mouth. There we go. So it's like almost, actually it is like 2 p.m. right now. That's it. So under my tick, I'm gonna go with something like a F vector, okay, which is going to be let's say which is going to be represented by a forwards variable that is going to be equal to something like get actor. Let's go with something like get actor forward vector. Okay, with a pair of parentheses. Now my get actor forward vector is not going to be having any parameters in it, so I'm going to enter with a semicolon. Now I'm going to go ahead and add something like add movement input, okay, for my character with a pair of parentheses that does require 2 parameters. The first is going to be forward, the second is going to be 1.0 floating point, ending with a semicolon. So I move forwards like this much distance. And guys, the reason I was confused is because I just realized I know how to like automate my player using an actor but not a character. That's what actually got me. Okay, bro, here it's 1:30 a.m. I just everyday wait for you. Honestly, I appreciate you, Nikhil. That actually means the world to me, but I feel like you guys should sleep. I shouldn't be talking. I slept at 2 o'clock yesterday, guys. I mean 2 a.m. yesterday night. Look, brother, have a good day. Honestly, have a good day. Good day too. Can Polit, is that how I pronounce your name? Okay, that's it. Wait, why did I open Sensei? Let me go ahead and open my Unreal Engine. Now, if I did something like Control Alt F11 to run the code, actually to patch my file, let's see what happens. Oh, your current location is America then? Maybe, maybe not, guys. Okay, that's it. Let's see. It's successfully linked. Okay, now if I go ahead and run the code, let's see what happens. Okay, guys, my... Is he still moving? Oh, he is. My mage is still moving, guys. Hold up, I gotta be probably faster. We're the same speed. Well, I guess that's it for my mage. Let's hit something like... How did I do this, guys? What did I just click? Huh? Wait, guys, did I just click something? What did I just do? Wait, guys, I think I clicked something. Did I just... How did I get the wireframe version of everything here? F1, F2? I did not know something like this existed, guys. What is this? Okay, guys, I think I went to the uncharted territory. Escape? Guys, how did I do that stuff? I'm curious how ChatGPT will teach you behavior trees for NPC. That actually does make sense. Okay, that's it. Let's see. Guys, I don't know how did that work type stuff, but I guess I'm getting so many short contents from this stream today. Maybe let me go ahead and add the time again. 155.46. Let's go with something like 155.46. Okay, perfect. Okay, speaking of which, you entered the Matrix. Guys, the Matrix does sound kind of cool. What does the Matrix actually mean? I finished my studies and after chatting with my girlfriend, I just ran into your channel. That actually does sound kind of cool. Just kidding, it's wireframe view. Oh, I see. Okay, honestly, Matrix does sound kind of cooler than like the wireframe view. Okay, I actually think that should be pretty much it because all I wanted to learn this stream was just how to add gravity and like make my player jump as well. But apparently Unreal Engine literally like does that for us. We have our gravity scale here, add control and jump velocity. So I might actually end the stream because like there's nothing else that I gotta do here. All I need to do is just practice this code off stream. So let's get some /ChatGPT here. Next stream, I might actually work with collision. Like if my player hits my enemy type stuff, then I'm going to be doing something like maybe I'm going to be getting my health bars, health and decreasing that type stuff. I got to make so many meshes for that as well. That's it. Let me say something like, Sensei, I feel like I did everything that I was supposed to do this stream because all I wanted was to add gravity and jump logic, but apparently Unreal does that for us. ... Next stream, I will go over collision. So before I do end the stream, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Question mark. Okay, let's see, bro, are you 18 or a high school guy? Honestly, I am like 17. That's my birthday isn't exactly 10 days. Kind of excited for that. That's it. I'm going to be turning 18 on my birthday. That's listen up, viewers. Today we witness the magic of Unreal Engine doing the heavy lifting for us, gravity and jumping things. You have the code, okay, already built in. All you had to do was tell the character when to jump. Remember this, understanding what the engine already provides makes you stronger, faster, and smarter. Don't waste time reinventing wheels. Learn to use what you've got. Next stream, we're diving into collision. That's where your character starts interacting with the world, except how to learn to hit walls, ladders, platforms, and detect objects. And remember this, a master does not just move forward. A master understands the ground beneath their feet, said by Sarah Sensei. I highly doubt that. That said, please say your nationality, Rajit. Guys, say a nationality, Rajit is kind of crazy. That's it, let's get some actually let's go to my main camera. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. I thought that I would be doing like much more and like struggling like pulling the stream off like 3 hours today, but I feel like Unreal literally did everything for me. But next year I will go over collisions. That said, if you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like helps in my algorithm, sharing makes me smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. That's it guys, I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kiki, YouTube. I will start multi-streaming on TikTok and Instagram as well if I did meet the followers requirement. So if you guys do enjoy my content and haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there. The link is going to be in the description. And also join Discord server. That's where I usually talk to you guys, chat with you guys in general, or like give you guys my roadmap type stuff. The link will be in the description as well. That's let's see. Odd Eater, guys. Odd Eater is still kind of crazy, although it does sound kind of cool. That said, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace.